Hey there, it's Reset, and I'm going to show you how I turned the guitar from my least favorite instrument into one of my favorite instruments to play of all time. After this video, you'll have the bare basic knowledge to be able to play jazzy R&B guitar chords. My journey into the guitar looked kind of something like this. At first, I tried looking up some basic guitar tutorials and I played some basic open chords. However, the jazzy R&B music that I was listening to that I had wanted to play didn't quite match the chords, and also the chords on the chart were sometimes just too hard. Then I tried playing these complex shapes that the charts would give me, and it was just way too many and wasn't convenient to remember them, different for every individual song. I realized I had a big problem when I wanted to learn how to play these songs, but the learning curve was just like way too high, and it felt like too cumbersome to learn new chords for every single song. There must be like an easier way, right? And I don't want to just like have to follow like that sentiment of, oh, just get good. But like there must be a better way of learning it. And I stepped away from the guitar for a few years, and it wasn't until I took a university course where I learned the definitive shapes to play to get that jazzy R&B guitar sound. And I'm making this video because this is the video I wanted to have had available to me when I was growing up and I wanted to learn how to play these kind of chords on the guitar. Hey y'all, Future Ryan here, and forgot to mention something in the video. Another great reason why I love these chords that I'm about to teach you is that they can move anywhere on the neck of the guitar. You can take these shapes and just play them anywhere. You basically match the bottom root to the chord that you wanted to play. So for example, if I want to play a G major chord, I'd play G on the root and then play my major 7 shape. Just apply the shape I'm going to show you in the video to the root that you want, and that's how you get the chord. There are 6 main chord shapes that you need to know to play jazzy R&B guitar, and we can divide these 6 into 2 categories: root 6 chords and root 5 chords. To play root 6 chords, that just means you're playing the root note on the 6th string. So I'm playing the 6, skipping the 5th string, 4, 3, and 2. And I'm using Pima fingering, so that means I'm using my thumb, index, middle, and ring finger. There are 3 main chords to play: major 7 chords, minor 7 chords, and dominant 7 chords. This is a major 7 chord. And that has our major 3rd and major 7th to the root. Here's our minor 7 chord. And this has our minor 3rd and minor 7th. And lastly, we have our dominant 7 chord. That has our major 3rd and minor 7 or flat 7 to the root. If you're starting out, it could be hard to play this as a bar chord. I remember when I first started out, I just fret all 4 of them because they're so close together. And you can use this sort of chord shape. You can use these major, minor, and dominant 7 chords whenever you see them on a chord chart, or if you're playing a jazz lead sheet. Even taking the most basic chord chart with the most basic chords and adding the 7th to them will make it sound a lot more jazzy and a lot more colorful. Feel free to take a sec to pause the video and really practice getting these chords underneath your fingers. Go ahead, just waiting right here. Great, now that you've learned these 3 chords, you're already like 60% of the way there to playing like jazzy R&B guitar. In fact, you can already play a bunch of songs using just these 3 chord shapes. Now, like I just shown you, you could just play all the songs that you want to play on root 6 chords, but as you saw, I'm kind of jumping up and down on the neck a lot. And yeah, you don't need to do that. That's where the root 5 chords come in. With the root 5 chords, we're going to learn the same 3 shapes, except now the root is on the 5th string. And what that means is we're going to play the inner 4 strings, playing the 5th string, 4th, 3rd, and 2nd. And so this is the major 7 shape, root 5. This is the minor 7 shape, root 5. This is the dominant 7 shape, root 5. Please note that just this specific shape, you do have to bar it with your index finger. But don't worry if it hurts a little bit. You'll build up that finger strength naturally over time. But also there's extra bonus chords I'm going to share with you later that you can use as an alternative to this. Feel free to take a second to pause the video and just really practice getting these chord shapes down. And just really internalize the shape of these chords. There's a very common type of chord progression that happens a lot in jazz R&B music, and that's called the 2-5-1. And it's basically you're going from the 2 minor 7, the 5 7, to its relative 1 major 7. And it sounds like this. However, there's an even easier way to play that, and that's these next 3 bonus chords I'm going to show you. This next set of extensions has the added 9 to it, so just think of that as an extra way to color the sound. It's still the same chord, just with an extra note to color it. If you don't know music theory, just really quickly, the 9 is basically the 2nd note, just up an octave, right? So I have our 1 here, and if I play a tone up from that, see, it's this note up an octave. So just think of it as the same chord with a bit of extra color to it. So this is our major 9 chord, or a major 7 with the added 9. This is our minor 9 chord. And this is our dominant 7 chord with the added 9. You can use these root 5 chords to replace any of the root 5 chords we were looking at earlier. So playing the 2-5-1 is a lot simpler using these shapes compared to the other one. This chord change, I only have to move these 2 fingers. And we can already see that these 2-5-1s are used in some of the examples we're playing. Take a listen. And that's basically it. If you learn just those 9 shapes, you're pretty much set for a long way. However, I will say there are extra chords and extra chord shapes you can learn to color the sound. And you can use any of these shapes to replace any of these chords as it shows up on a chord chart or on a lead sheet. Just choose whatever is most convenient for you to reach. But also, if you like the sound of a root 6 chord, like down here, compared to its sound like up here, go ahead and use either shape. It's just the same chord, just a different voicing and a different color to it, right? I've included a PDF full of extra alternative chords you can use to color your sound even more. Like for example, this is a root 6 chord, dominant 7, like I showed you earlier. But we can choose to make it an altered 7 chord, and it sounds like this, which is a little bit spicier. Or we can add the 13 to it, and it sounds like this. As an example, I'll show you a progression a few times, but I'm changing that specific 7 chord each time. As you heard, I'm changing that second chord, that dominant 7, and it sounds really different each time, right? You might want to experiment with choosing different voicings depending on the song, and all of those extra bonus shapes are in the description in the PDF. Check that out. Lastly, we'll talk about plucking pattern. You see me use quite a few different plucking patterns in this video. I would really recommend just practicing on quarter notes and going really slow when you're learning. So you could go something like this. And just as an extra bonus tip, if you want to practice, you can mute the strings by lifting them without letting go of that chord shape. So like this. As you see, I'm just lifting up with these fingers while still holding that chord shape, and that will mute the sound of that chord. I'm going to show you a few plucking patterns that I tend to gravitate to, but feel free to experiment with the rhythms of playing different finger picking patterns or just the way you feel the pulse. Sometimes I just like to hit the string itself, and that kind of acts as the backbeat or the groove or where the snare would be. If you're feeling extra adventurous, you can try doing what Sam Kim does and adding a bit of more additional percussion to it, where you're using your wrist to hit the bridge, like a kick drum, and then you're hitting the strings like a snare, like I said earlier. And to do that is really simple. I'm going boom, pluck, slap, pluck, boom, right? Over time, you'll feel the groove and the pulse, and it'll feel a bit more natural. And that's it. Feel free to come back if you ever need a refresher on this. And remember, practice takes time, so go very slow, right? And it makes it worth it. And what really helped me learn to practice this is practice songs that you want to know and songs that you're interested in playing. And you can look up those chords online, or you can even go look up like jazz lead sheets if you want to play. Just keep in mind about those chord symbols. I'm going to list them here again for you. Whenever you see these chord symbols, you would use that chord shape we talked about, major 7, minor 7, or dominant 7. And then after that, it's only a matter of just getting used to transitioning from chord to chord. Because if you remember the shape, it makes it so much easier to play. Drop a comment below on what song you're going to be learning first. But if you learned anything new or you like this video, please like and subscribe. Otherwise, take care. See ya!